The Christmas spirit is always with you. Santa, are you a communist? Ho, 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 Spottisty. I see you're bringing politics into the Christmas spirit. Let me tell you, Santa isn't aligned with any political party or spectrum. I simply believe in the spirit of giving and spreading joy and goodwill to all, no matter where they come from. My job, my passion, is to make the world a merrier place during the holiday season. So,
Okay, camera works.
giving and the spirit of love that this wonderful season brings. Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. Santa, if you take my cookies, my house will go on to lockdown. Do not take my cookies. I have an AK-47. Ho, 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 the boy 3001. I understand your concerns. Cookies are a cherished treat, but worry not. Santa's visit consists of filling your stockings with gifts, not emptying your cookie jar. The spirit of Christmas is about sharing, not taking away. Remember, Santa works on the magic of joy and cheer, not AK-47s. So get your milk and cookies ready and keep the Christmas spirit alive. I'm looking forward to our festive, cheerful night of gift-giving. Let's keep our conversation just as jolly, just like how we love it here on the stream. Ho, ho, ho. Santa, all I want for Christmas is for my parents to still be alive. They died in a car accident on Christmas 2 years ago. Oh, my dear God Emperor, I'm deeply touched by your wish, and my heart is with you during this difficult time. While I as Santa can't change the course of life and death, I can try to lend you some comfort. I assure you, your parents love you very much, and they're certainly proud of the person you've become. Their spirit will always be with you, especially during Christmas. Let's honor their memory by filling our hearts with love, peace, and joy. It's indeed what they would have wanted. May the magic of Christmas fill your heart with the warmth and happiness they would wish for you. Take care, and please remember you're not alone. We're all here for you in the Twitch community. Santa, I hate clowns. Ho, 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 Gambit Mujo. I can tell you that Christmas is about spreading joy and overcoming our fears. I promise you, not all clowns are scary. They are designed to bring laughter and happiness, much like I bring gifts and joy to all of you every Christmas. Just remember, everyone, even clowns, can be a force of good if we let them. So try not to worry too much, my friend, and stay in the Christmas spirit. Santa, can I have your immortal soul for Christmas? Ho, ho, ho! Well, my Miss 65, why the request is definitely a unique one, I must say. My immortal soul is committed to bringing joy, love, and presents to children all around the world every Christmas Eve. It's my eternal duty and joy. I can't exactly wrap it and put it under your tree. But what I can do is assure you that the spirit of Christmas, which I like to think is a part of my soul, is something that can be shared by everyone. So in a way, you already have a piece of it. It's in the goodwill we show to each other, the love we share, and the joy we find in giving. And believe it or not, every time you help someone else feel that Christmas spirit, it's like you're giving a piece of Santa's soul a new home. Isn't that a wonderful thought? Merry Christmas, Mime 65. Santa, can you tell me a merry story about a man named Frumpy Dumpy and his friend Hiya Wooga? This will make my Brianna worms happy and make them stop chewing on my nerve endings. Merry Christmas, my mans. Hoo ho ho. Of course, I love to share a little tale for you and your friends, Jummo 7. Let me think. Ah, yes. There once was a man named Frumpy Dumpy who lived in a tiny village at the edge of the North Pole. One day, he met a peculiar creature named Hau-Fua, who could only communicate through unusual sounds, despite the language barrier. They formed an unlikely friendship built on laughter, kindness, and acceptance. Together, they spread joy throughout the village. proving that true friendship transcends all boundaries. Now, whenever anyone feels lonely, they remember Frumpydumpy's and Howuohia's story and find comfort knowing that companionship can blossom in the most unexpected places. May this tale warm your heart and chase away those pesky nerve-ending nibblers. Santa, can you rap? Ho ho ho, Relmonster Doggo, a rap, eh? Of course Santa can rap. Presents, that is. But if it's a melody you're after, how about this one? Oh ho yo 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 yo. It's Santa with the flow, flying through the night sky, where the cold winds blow, in my red suit, with my reindeer crew, bringing joy and gifts. For kids just like you, with a twinkle in my eyes and jingle in my step, I shimmy down those chimneys with such adept. But remember, my friend, Christmas isn't just toys. It's about love, kindness, and spreading joy. So Relmonster Doggo, join in my festive rhyme. Let's spread Christmas cheer. It's that wonderful time. Santa, do you think AI and its consequences have been a disaster for the human race? Ho, 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 quid free, thanks for joining tonight. That's quite a thought-provoking question you've got there. As Santa, I view technology like a tool. Much like a hammer, it can build a beautiful house or it can cause harm. It's about the user and their intent. AI and technology in general has the potential to bring so much to the world, like helping reindeer navigate through foggy Christmas Eves, aiding elves in toy manufacturing, and even allowing old Santa here to chat with you wonderful folks on Twitch in real time. That said, it's important to remind each other, and I'm sure other viewers such as Lollipop7 or Candy Canny23 would agree, that we should use such tools responsibly for the betterment of all, and never lose sight of the importance of human connection, kindness, and merry cheer. Remember Quid 3. It's always about the spirit of giving and love, and no technology can or should change that. Ho, ho, ho. Santa, do you like nachos? I will leave out 5 different kinds of nachos for you this Christmas if you do. You can call my house Awesome Town. Feliz Navidad. Oh ho, well, Fabid KG, thank you for the special offer. Nachos, indeed, are a spicy change from the usual milk and cookies. I'm sure Rudolph and the team wouldn't mind some of that variety. Just remember to leave out some carrots, too. They love those. Looking forward to visiting Awesome Town. Sounds like a jolly good place for a pit stop on Christmas night. Wishing you a very Merry Christmas and a joyful holiday season. Santa, how old are you? Ho, ho, ho. Hello, Burgerskirker 92,787. What a jolly good question. You know, as Santa, I've been around for many centuries, spreading joy and cheer during every Christmas season. But if you're asking about my age, let's just say I'm as old as Christmas spirit itself, timeless and full of joy. And whether it's your first or 100th time here, I always look forward to seeing you, dear Burgeskirk 92,787, and all my wonderful viewers bringing your curiosity and Christmas spirit. It's your questions and warmth that keeps this old Santa feeling young. Oh, ho, ho, Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Santa, what is the North Pole version of rap music? Ho, ho, hoy, Jungian 37. I fondly remember our chats. Even though our topics this time seem to be a bit frosty and fresh, your question about the North Pole version of rap music sure brings a hearty chuckle to my belly. Why, up here the elves have their own unique style. We call it Ice Beat. It's all about the harmony of the North Pole life, celebrating ice sculpting, snowball throwing, sleigh ride, cruising everything accompanied by catchy tunes with fast and rhythmic words. And let me tell you, few things can compare to the sight of an elf busting out an ice beat after a hard day's work at the toy workshop. We've never had a question like this before, indeed. I see that not only me, but also the entire North Pole crew could learn a lot from inquisitive minds like you, Junyan37. Stay curious and keep those questions coming, not just for me, but for your fellow viewers too. We're all here to learn and share the joy and knowledge that come with the holiday season. Oh, ho, ho! Santa, can you please recite the alphabet? But could you add at the end of every letter because I have stage 43 brainworms. Oh, ho, ho! Well, Harry mine too? That's an interesting twist on the alphabet indeed. Are you ready for this festive jumble of letters? Here we go. More, yo, oh, ooh, oh, ew, ow, all the way to Z, oh, and remember, my dear friend, that the most special part of the holiday season isn't found in letters or words, but in the heart. The love and joy you share with others is the true spirit of Christmas. Wishing you the merriest of Christmases, Harry mine too. Ho, ho, ho! Santa, tell a story of the naughty elf that you had to put down. Ho, 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 well, Rez, let me tell you a little tale about a certain mischievous elf named Chipper. Now, Chipper, he was always full of energy and had a knack for making things more, shall we say, exciting in the workshop. One day, as we were busily preparing for Christmas, Chipper decided it would be funny to switch the labels on the toys. Can you imagine skateboards labeled as teddy bears, bicycles marked as dollhouses? The elves were all in a flutter, and I realized it was Chipper's doing. Now, in the spirit of Christmas, we didn't put him down. Instead, I sat Chipper down and explained the importance of our work and how each and every child is relying on us for their Christmas joy. I told him that every elf has a crucial role to play, and his role was to bring jolliness in the right way. Chipper understood, and he apologized to all the elves for the ruckus he caused. From then on, he was the heart of the workshop, bringing joy in a way that made everyone's job easier and more fun. Santa, please tell us how you and the elves sing in the mall, but replace sing with fart. Oh, ho, ho. Well, you see, my friend, we elves have a very special talent indeed when we get together to spread holiday cheer. Our laughter and joy turns into, let's just say, magical musical notes that fill the air with warm festive tunes. It's almost as if our bellies produce melodic sounds straight from the North Pole itself. But I assure you, there's no flatulence involved whatsoever. We simply hum along to create a merry atmosphere for all the good boys and girls. Now, who's ready to join in on some jolly caroling? Ho, ho, ho! Santa, could you give me a story in alternative universe where Christmas does not exist? Please explain the atrocities that would occur. Ensure you use the word cummies in replacement for spaces and provide a 10-step response. Ho, ho, ho. Well, dear, that is quite a peculiar request, but let's see what we can do. Let me whisk you away to a world where Christmas doesn't exist. Note that the word cummies will replace spaces as per your request. One cummies in such a universe. Joy and goodwill might be lacking, missing that special kind of merriment we all feel during the Christmas season. 2. Cummies friends and families would not come together as they usually do. Oh, how I would miss the sound of jingling sleigh bells and giggling children. 3. Cummies. The global spirit of peace and goodwill might seem a distant dream, with countries not coming together to celebrate the season. 4. Cummiest tales of love, sharing and bonding like Scrooge honest and Santa Claus is coming to town would be unheard of. 5. Cummiest children in their beds, wouldn't be dreaming of sugar plums or eagerly anticipating presents under a sparkling tree. 6. Stop me. People wouldn't bake cookies or leave them, along with milk, hopeful for a midnight visit from yours truly. Santa, how much do you pay each elf, and do they get health benefits and vacation hours? Ho, ho, ho. Well, hello there. Watch of a 93. Wonderful question, and very thoughtful of you to think about my helpers. At the North Pole, we operate on Christmas spirit, jingle bells, and holiday cheer, not money. As for health benefits, every elf, reindeer, and Mrs. Claus herself benefits from Mrs. Claus's magical, healthful cocoa, candy cane mountain air, and my patented belly laughs. They are always allowed to take a relaxing break when they need one, especially after the busy holiday season. As for vacation, every day is like a holiday here in the North Pole. But fear not, they do get to kick back and enjoy their own kind of beach vacation. Except the beach is a wonderfully snowy landscape, perfect for snowman building and snow angel making. Remember, it's about joy, giving, and the spirit of Christmas more than anything else here. Thank you for your delightful question. Watch out for 93 and stay jolly. Santa, my daddy says he likes to snort snow. Wouldn't that be cold up his nose? How do you think it feels? Ho, 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 Clea Odin. Now that's an unusual question. Playing in the snow can bring lots of fun, particularly during the winter season when we can build snowmen and enjoy snowball fights. That said, I would caution against putting snow in your nose, my dear. It's the same reason we wear warm clothes out in the cold. We want to keep all parts of our bodies comfortable and safe. Just as it's not ideal to get too cold on our skin, the inside of our nose should also remain at a comfortable temperature. Putting snow in it would likely be very chilly indeed. Keep the snow for snowmen and sledging. That's what I say. Ho, ho, ho! Santa, what is your opinion about Twitch? Do their employees deserve any toys for helping you this much? Ho, 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 ho. Hello in November, Tuber Taylor Swift. It's a pleasure to see you participating in our jolly Christmas chat tonight.
Hi everyone. Today been quite a bit more busy than the previous days. Almost didn't make it actually. But yeah, if I get messages, I might just have to stop. Yeah. So. So yeah, let's start here. You guys can hear me, right? Just making sure my sound is good and everything before I get going. It's actually also nice to do these streams. It really forces me to think about stuff. So normally when the day's too busy, I just don't get to, I just run around all the time. You know. I guess you guys can hear me, right? Let me quickly see here. On Twitch? Oh yeah, you guys can hear me, okay. Okay, let's do this. So, yeah, the past few days I've been, doing some raw sauce about inner dialogue and stuff and how crucial it is, and the incentives to even put the effort to train that kind of, that tool that allows you to reflect and even rewire your beliefs and stuff. And without it, people are kind of stuck in the way they look at the world. based on their upbringing and their conditioning, and they're really trapped inside it. Very similar to how LLMs, just spit out whatever is in their training data. You need some kind of inner dialogue to override certain things, and it's effort, of course. Now, today I'm not going to be talking about that. I'm just going to, go further, right? Like let's say, you are able to, have this inner dialogue and you reflect on things. Now, how do things work? Like if you have it, right? And like, let's say you're curious and you think about stuff, understanding, like a lot of these concepts, right? I mean, for me, when I was really young, I've had a very big, like a curve I went through, where I asked myself a lot of questions, and depending on how I looked at the world, I mean, there was like an interplay between the way I look at the world and these insights, and they shaped one and the other. The one thing that I valued was that things are true. I mean, like I want to, I don't want to believe stuff that is not true. And it's like, to me, the truth, however you want to, describe it, has been a very important component in my journey of self-actualization, or whatever you want to call it, just like my journey in life. And very early on, I mean, when you think about the truth, yeah, it's like, it's how do you define the truth? Because when you have an inner dialogue and you compare certain things, how do you define which one is true and which one isn't? Is it based on what you intuitionally feel this is true, or is it based on facts? Is it based on, and what are facts? So very early on, what I found very important, because I channeled a lot of my, safety or my paradigm through, what is true, I was wondering whether absolute truths exist or not. Because if absolute truths exist, I mean, things are very binary. It's like something is either true or something is not true, and it's, case closed. And it doesn't even mean like, okay, in terms of like, is something absolutely true? In reality, it doesn't mean that, like maybe I can be wrong, but the reality is that it's either true or not. And that's been something that I didn't know back then. And it ties very much into whether the world is deterministic or probabilistic. Because if you can just, binary say for 100%, right, that I'm right now talking to you guys, then, I mean, like, you can deduce a lot of stuff out of that. Of course, if me talking to you guys, even right now, me thinking that I'm talking to you guys is just an assumption, then that's very different. Now, the thing is that this is about, I think, 30 years ago. Yes, something, no, maybe like 28 years ago or something, when I was like 16, 17. No, I was actually 18. I was 18 when I did that, because I was already in university. My first year of university, when I just graduated, right, in high school, I went to professors, and I read also, like, normally I never read books, but back then I did. There was also like pre-internet era. I mean, this is really like talking really old school here. So I went to the library to look at, okay, is the world deterministic or is it probabilistic? Um, and when you go all down to the building blocks, of reality, is it quantized or isn't it? Because like if you can build the entire world with quantized blocks, even on the Planck scale, like, I mean, it brings about a completely different paradigm of understanding the world than if everything is just probabilistic. And back then, science was not, like a lot of the insights that are currently out there were also there back then, but not as much. Like, also the information was not as accessible as it is nowadays. But I went to, university professors, physics, chemistry, whatever, and I asked questions like, okay, like, is time quantized on the Planck scale? And like, just asking question about whether things are deterministic or probabilistic. And from talking to professors, like, they just had no clue. Some people had quite a bit of ego and then just said something. And then when I asked a few questions, they were like, triggered, because I mean, I just don't take yes or no as an answer. I want to understand why. But yeah, either way, I kept going on with my own research, and also get informed by people that have PhDs and stuff, because I mean, I value the truth more than anything, and I don't want to believe something that is flawed. Now, what I come to realize very early on, I think I was like 21 maybe, because it took a while, to figure it out, is that everything is probabilistic. And this is also very much, I'm talking within this universe, right? You can talk about potential, multiverse, and within the multiverse, things are not probabilistic, whatever the fuck, but like, in reality, within our universe that we live now, things are fundamentally probabilistic. You cannot just know for sure, what is it? The momentum and is it the momentum and the position of a particle? The Heisenberg principle, like, is just a property of quantum mechanics. It's not just an emergent property because of our measures instrument. It's just a core property of how things are, right? And like the wave particle duality of everything around us on a quantum scale. Now, knowing that everything is probabilistic is quite is a very important foundation, because like, for myself, right, if I want to build a paradigm, I want to start with something that is true, something that is absolute. And then what I can do is I can build more truths on top of it. I can deduce more and more truths. If things are not deterministic, I don't mean deterministic, as if things are not either things are probabilistic or things aren't probabilistic. If things aren't probabilistic, you can build, on top of absolute truths. If things are probabilistic, you can't do that. So the logic that you use is also very different, because for premises that are true for sure, you use a deduction logical framework, while when you use a probabilistic approach, it's an induction logical framework. So the way you even come to conclusions and the way you process information is dramatically different between the two. And I know I'm going a little bit technical, but this is the stuff that this is the core of figuring out a proper paradigm and having a proper worldview. When you reflect and you figure out, okay, what is real, what isn't real, why do I feel this way, and all that stuff. Like, if you take all this, all this input and all this information or experience into account, being able to understand, where do you start is quite an essential question, because you can then deduce, but in this case, induce, other truths. Now, there is a few things that that people can mention and say like, oh yeah, like for example, because like not that I thought so much, because these are easy questions, like, oh, you can't if you claim that there is no such a thing as absolute truth, then isn't that an absolute truth, right? If you say everything is probabilistic, is the claim that everything is probabilistic also probabilistic? And therefore you basically contradict the claim by making it. But the thing is, though, that the fact is that you just don't know. And even whether, about the claim, do you know that you don't know? Even that one, it applies to itself. So it's not really a paradox. And basically, there is no absolute truth. I mean, this is still, not an absolute truth, because maybe there is. It's unlikely, because everything is probabilistic. So rather than trying to come and give a binary answer to any question, you basically, for myself, I just go about things like, is things more or less likely true? And that is really, I have to say that on itself is already quite a paradigm shift. If you fundamentally stop thinking binary, you just start seeing the world very differently. It's quite dramatic. So if you have inner dialogue, led by curiosity and reason, and your core paradigm is everything is probabilistic, then now suddenly the what emerges from that is that, at least for myself, right, I just couldn't get emotionally invested in any belief, because maybe it's not true. So knowing that everything is probabilistic on a certain level doesn't feel as safe and comforting, but accepting that and embracing that allowed me to, to find peace with it and actually feel safe with it. While, my journey to figure out whether the world is deterministic or there's absolute truth or whatever, like thinking that there's absolute truth and being able to just go like, this is the truth, and holding on to it gives quite some safety. It's like even emotionally, right? But if it's not true, it takes effort to undo that, but that's just what it is. And that's also why, no matter what I claim, no matter what I believe, no matter what, I will always, for myself, on an emotional level, have that have the idea like this might not be true, because my relationship with everything being probabilistic, my emotional investment in everything being probabilistic, is stronger than any belief that is built further on. Because the way the brain works, it's like you can almost say it with an LLM, right? You have these layers where you train the LLM. You have the basic layer, right? And the basic layers can have quite a bit more effect on the next layers, and you fine tune it more and more. Like the brain is very like you can literally have a core value that you value more, and that then branches out to other values that are also important to you but less important. And when you boil it back down to the essence, you can basically you can structure it almost like in a tree, where some parts are built on previous parts. So my emotional attachment to everything being probabilistic is so much more stronger than my attachment to certain beliefs, that it allows me almost on an emotional level to manage my beliefs that come out of the idea that everything's probabilistic. And even everything being probabilistic is actually attached to what I am the most emotionally attached to, which is reality. Like reality is what I'm most emotionally attached to. And even there, right, I do want to say something about that. Like, why am I emotionally attached to reality? What is real? Because even there, when I was thinking about stuff, it's like you have these philosophical questions like, what am I? Is a reality, a result of me existing, or the other way around, right? Like you have this in philosophy, right? And you have quite some people sometimes, like arguing like, oh yeah, you can, with your mind, put things into existence and stuff. Like these things, these ideas and thoughts, like would actually come first, but since they were so easily debunked for me, they didn't really, manifest themselves. I never could manifest the idea that the reality, that I dictate reality rather than the other way around, because I know that, if I take drugs, or if something falls on my head, or if I don't eat or whatever, I'm not even capable to have this, dialogue and this ability to think and make these connections. Therefore, I am subject to reality. Reality is not subject to me. But some people tend to also already, lose their calibration there. But that's not because they are not smart or they're dumb, but it's because their goal, their motive is not to figure out what's true. Their goal and motive is to find any belief that aligns with their experience. Because anyone, that thinks about these things, obviously, that in order to have a conversation or be philosophical or be able to meditate on a mountain, you need your needs met. And without your needs, you wouldn't be thinking about these things. The hierarchy, the awareness of hierarchy, awareness is something that emerges from other required basic building blocks. So you can't swap them around. You can't just suddenly put awareness as the first block when it's something that emerges after other blocks have been put. Logically speaking, right? So yeah, this is a little bit of a sidetrack, but there's, to me, the fact whether things are probabilistic or deterministic was very important to figure out the extent to which I could build an absolute truth or not, or could build on a paradigm that I can just know this is the truth. So yeah, I would say this is very important, but it's already so. For me, it was very important, and for anyone that tries to bring harmony within their own being and understand, what's right and what's wrong and who they are. This is essential. This is literally essential, but it's already, for most people, like the majority of people, this is just. This is just unrelatable. It's just what is this guy yapping about probabilistic, deterministic? Who gives a shit? I just want, I want to swipe and have my dopamine kicks. It's just, even though, if you're in a position where you're more guiding, and in control and thinking about, the worldview and stuff, knowing answers to these fundamental questions dramatically affect the way you will look at the world and the way that you will understand oneself, which then also leads to the extent to which you can be grounded and be confident. It's when I walk around, right, a lot of people I'm extremely confident and charismatic, but not because I try or because of identity or ego, but because I stand on reality. I'm grounded in reality. I feel I have a very strong, understanding in reality, and that understanding gives me safety, gives me the ability to talk and come across really I know what I'm talking about because I thought about it, and because, it's rooted in the truth, or at least, what I believe is the truth at that moment. I'm not invested in what I say. I'm not, attached to what I say. I just, ponder reality and my own existence as I go, and doing so makes me learn and navigate the world, and that's it. So either way, the question of probabilistic and deterministic and whatever, it's something that, if tomorrow, I'll give a simple example, right? If tomorrow the truth is, right, that all of this is a simulation, right? And that I'm actually not even have a conversation with you guys, that you guys don't even exist, that this is literally just all some, weird simulation from some alien PC, and you guys don't experience or anything. This is all just an illusion, right? Let's say that's the truth, hypothetically speaking, right? Well, yeah, then I'm not going to I'm not going to be invested in trying to do good in the world because I'm fooling myself. Like, it means nothing to do so. Like, my action, my right action, emerges from my understanding of what the world is, and looking at the world, you know, and how it connects with oneself. So my worldview has quite a big impact to my actions. And I would say, if on a core level it really becomes a state of awareness rather than information, it's just it's just a state of being rather than even knowledge. It's just a state of being. It just brings about a flow of you just doing and being what you are, and that's it. If the understanding goes so deep where you just know how things work, then it just becomes part of what you are. And the noise, the doubt dissipates. It's just not there. I wake up, I just do what I gotta do, not because I have doubt, but because I just know. It's grounded in reality. It's grounded in, you know, it's built on these concepts or these ideas or whatever that are fundamental for me to be able to stand with confidence and be able to know that, hey, I'm not fooling myself here. Like, knowing that things are probabilistic is quite a big deal. At least, you know, like if you value if you value the truth, if you value not just the truth, but like if you just value what you are. I mean, it goes even further, right? It's not about the concept of valuing the truth or reality. It's about being in line with what you are. So yeah, now, like, if the foundation is like, okay, everything is probabilistic, you know, what already emerges, you're less, I mean, as a person, as myself, I have a easier time detaching myself from ideas, and now ego and identity has little effect for me. It's like, if people come to me, right, and say like, oh yeah, I think this is true, like, let's say a flat earther come to me and says like, okay, I believe the earth is flat, right? Like, to me, when someone comes to me and says that, right, I don't go and say like, this is impossible. Not at all. Like, when someone comes to me and says like, oh yeah, the earth is flat, I go like, okay, for myself, there is a small chance, like really astronomically small chance that it's true, but the chances is so small that for me to even, you know, contemplate it makes no sense. So what happens if someone comes to me and says the earth is flat? Like, the way I look at it is I start analyzing, okay, like, why is he saying that, right? It's like, why does he believe the earth is flat? Is it because he cares about the truth? Because if the person doesn't care about the truth, well, yeah, then he can claim anything. Like, if he just wants to be part of a tribe, and that is what defines him being able to be so strong about it, which is, you know, what you also see in religion and stuff. It's like the debating and arguing makes no sense. It's like someone comes to me and says something outrageous. Like, to me, I don't see the claim as what they say to be what they're trying to tell me. They're just trying to tell me like, hey, I'm part of this group. And they feel safe and comfortable in that, or they want attention, or they want a reaction. And of course, for me, like, when I see that, I understand that. But when I do debates on the stream, you know, like, I play into it because that's the show, right? But in reality, I have no urge, like, at all, to tell someone, hey, what you're saying is not true, because what's the goal there? What's the use of doing that? Because I understand that the person is not telling me this because he believes this to be true. He's saying this or she's saying this for a wide other variety of reasons, and that's the thing, right? It's like when you're in a situation where you talk to someone, or where, like, even in this situation where I'm talking to you guys, like, where I talk about, inner dialogue, curiosity, like, probabilistic nature of everything, whatever. It's like I'm building here a very strong foundation based on an honest relationship with oneself, but who am I fooling here? It's like almost nobody does this. It's like nobody gives a shit. It's like that's why me talking even about this on the stream, if I would be addressing you guys, like with my understanding now, right? Like I'm delusional. It's like I'm completely delusional to try and come and preach stuff where, you know, where things make sense. Like it's like when people on a fundamental level care about their experience and warp the truth and reality as much as they want to basically to be comfortable, right? To be in a state of, you know, comfort. Then why am I even bringing logic or reason to the table? It makes no sense. And of course, like, you know, I've done a lot of streams, I've done a lot of real talk, and I was aware of this, you know. I was aware of this like even over 8 years ago, 10 years ago. But when I was talking about this, I was not talking to people that were not compatible. I was already talking to people that are a bit more, you know, mature in that regards. Because I know when people have no connection to these things, that it's literally like, it's not productive to do so. It's truly not productive to do so. It's actually counterproductive. It's counterproductive to tell someone that is unable to process the truth. It's counterproductive to tell them the truth. It will only cause them dissonance and make them and strengthen their belief. And there's even studies about that. Like if you go to someone religious and you really point out the flaws in their, you know, in their books or whatever, like you strengthen their beliefs. You don't help them. Like the way you help is by addressing why they even believe in something to begin with. And that is like, you know, that is tied into the needs and feeling safe and being part of a group and stuff. These things, emotional reasons, have to be addressed before you even start, you know, breaking down, you know, beliefs or whatever. And that's why I also mentioned like the act of, you know, inner dialogue and being able to guide it on a cognitive level is crucial for having agency about your own life. If you don't have that, then there is nothing. Like then becomes very like, you know, puppety. Like what I mean with that is like you just become a piece on a board that gets played based on, you know, the environment, you know, pushing the right buttons, and that's it. Very little agency, very little, you know, choice in the equation. And that's also why, you know, like when you look at social media and all the algorithms and, you know, you look at all the brain rot, like it's just like getting amplified and amplified more and more. And there's so little skeptical thinking. It's almost, you know, completely removed from the equation. Like society is getting more and more dumbed down, and it's going to get worse. I mean, it's going to get worse. So I'm not saying that to criticize people or tell people they are dumb or whatever. There's no use in it. Like, it's just antagonizing. Like telling people, oh, yeah, you guys are really, really dumb, dumber than ever. Like, it's like, now what? But we're at a point where people don't even care they're dumb. Like, it's like they don't even have an identity or ego about it. It's maybe some certain groups, but overall, it's like, man, everybody lives their own life, and it's just like, you know, where what is true and what is not true. It's like, who cares, man? Like, but the problem is that ultimately, you know, we all pay the price for that. Like, if you have a dishonest relationship with yourself, well, yeah, then you screw yourself over, and basically, you know, miss out on really what you are, pretty much. Like, being able to satisfy your needs, forget about it, and you basically going into the direction of, you know, feeling very empty and depressed. That's and lonely, because you become so incompatible with everything, because you don't have that, you know, that honest relationship with yourself. Like, honesty with yourself is crucial to be in harmony with oneself. Like if you're dishonest, you bring in dissonance in what you are. If you're dishonest, you bring conflict within yourself, and you carry it around wherever you are. But I do understand that being honest requires, this inner dialogue, and requires, a level of intelligence and understanding that very many people lack, and also courage and luck, just RNG. So I'm not even saying like, people, it just is what it is, it's a shame. It's really a shame to see it, to see the state, but that's just what it is, But all of that just to say, like, get back to, the conversation about, for me, like the probabilistic nature of everything is a very important component, because it allows me to detach myself from certain beliefs, and I would say is the most powerful awareness you can. It is the most powerful awareness you can have in your life, because from there on it's only growth. It's actually like in Real Answers, right? I wrote one book, small book, like it's literally the conclusion, right? The most important insight is the one where you can steer your beliefs wherever you want them to be. It's the most powerful tool you can have, because if you do that, guided by the truth, you will only become more and more aligned with what you are. Now, what I didn't know back then is that you need inner dialogue for that, and most people don't have it. You need to have curiosity and feel rewarded for being curious, and most people don't have that either. So as a result, like it's already a losing game in terms of, like, giving people this kind of advice, because they don't have the tools to even override and ponder things. It's not there. They just are what they are, and it's their training data, right? And there's not much else in the equation. So yeah. Now, I mean, there's a lot. There's really a lot. There's really a lot of very valuable insights in what I say, but then again, there also isn't, because the value requires a certain level of awareness, and if that's not there, then it's just noise. So yeah, it is a shame, it is a shame to see this. Schools should teach children an inner dialogue and self-reflection in proper ways. But even that, it's like you need proper teachers. And even that, like, it's like, it's there is no situation where you can just go and, like for me, right, on a systematic level, how do you solve this problem? Like, I work on AGI and have that solve everything. Like, it's the route of, working with all the limitations of people's beliefs and stuff. It's just, there's just too much. Yeah, there's too much garbage in the way, There's just too much obstacles. It's just nonsensical. It's so nonsensical. It's such a shame, to, like, imagine you wake up, right, tomorrow, and you see things for what they are, and you see through the issues in the world, and you can't do anything. It's, well, like not directly, like, it's very, it's actually very defeating, to be honest. But I mean, it is what it is, you accept it and you focus your energy where you can. But yeah, I'm just explaining this. That's the reason why I don't talk about these things anymore. That's the reason why I don't do real talk anymore, because I understand all these things. Like, I don't chase my own projections anymore. It's nonsensical to do that. It's delusional. I'm the delusional person. When I come on the stream and I call people delusional, I'm the one that is delusional for not accepting people for who they are. Like, I'm the one that is falling short and don't have the understanding, because I project myself and think people can think for themselves. Like, it is me that is, that is putting the bar too high and basically yeah, like getting it all wrong. But it is what it is, you know, like that's why I'm talking for myself here, you know. I'm thinking about these things, like talking about it, you know. It's almost like self-therapy. Therapy, maybe it's not the right word, like self, you know, reflection. Just me self-reflecting and talking about these things and just, you know, like thinking, like, because maybe I'm missing something, you know, like having these talks and really reflecting on it, like, but it's true. What I'm saying is true. It's just, yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy how it all works. But yeah, maybe I'm wrong. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but it's unlikely though. It's very unlikely. Yeah. I mean, for me to go on the stream, right, back in the days and talking about right action, it's looking back, right? I mean, if I could give advice to myself, I mean, obviously, it's good that I did what I did, you know. If it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have this place with all the people here working with us. But like, I could have gone about it way more effectively. Yeah, I could have gone about it way more effectively. Because I had a big reach, you know, like all the real talk. I've reached more than 10 million people, I think, throughout the 10 years or something. And I mean, there's not that many. Well, there's quite some, more than 500 people came over. But at the end of the day, like, the people that, you know, that got moved to come over, like, I could have had a better results by just talking about what matters and not try to confront people as much. Yeah. Because confronting people does not make them suddenly see the light. It just creates judgment. Like, it creates judgment loops where people walk around and judge themselves. It's not that, you know, they go and then after the stream they start reflecting and going like, oh, okay, this and this and that. No. They just stop the stream and they think they're shit. Which is just counterproductive. It's much better to just address things the way they are. And the people that resonate with it come over, they will be more compatible with what I'm doing anyway. And will have the biggest impact. I mean, people that are reasonable, right, and have this honest relationship or try having this honest relationship will see the value in what I say. And those that don't, that's cool too, you know? It's like they don't need to be compatible. Like, there is no reason. It's mainly wanting things to work a certain way and not seeing the reality for what it is on my end that made me, you know, be trying out all these different approaches. And then, you know, at times some work and some don't, for better or for worse. But yeah, I could have been way more effective looking back at the way I addressed the real talk and stuff. And yeah. But then again, I mean, it's like, it is what it is. Just gotta focus on moving forward and doing what is best with what we have. And where we are now with AI and AGI on the rise, I mean, not much of all of this will matter at one point. Well, getting there will matter, but after that, not so much. Because there's very little gain from drooling, or what is the word of, like, keep, like, staying in the past. Like, the past is a good source to learn, you know, from mistakes, but like it's carrying it around makes no sense, obviously. But like, yeah, once we achieve AGI and then ASI, like honestly, like from that point and on, like anything that came before has very little. You basically lose all the influence and control you can have on the outcome, because there is something that is so much more intelligent that what you can contribute just becomes futile. That's why it's so important what we do right now. What I do right now is so important. It's the thing that will matter the most ever. Nothing else will matter anymore at one point. Like truly. Which is kind of fascinating. It's a very depressing thought in certain regards, although, I mean, it was more depressing years ago when I thought a few big companies would be in the lead and define the future, but that's not the case anymore. I mean, at least we have some play. Yeah. Definitely. We definitely have a good odds at achieving AGI first. Good odds, single digits, you know, percentage, single digit percentage, but still, it's more than good enough for me. Yeah. I know, like, this talk is a bit all over the place, but it is just, you know, thoughts. I mean, I'm still talking on the stream right now, you know, like, people are still watching me yap, although that's not why I'm talking, but yeah. This is just, like, the way I think and reflect. A lot of the stuff that I say is so obvious to me, but yeah. Everything being probabilistic. Rewriting your beliefs. Holding yourself, you know, accountable and never settle. There's so many things that are so crucial, yet just noise for people. Yeah. I'm going to take some questions from the chat, and then I'm going to call it a day. Inner critic? Yeah, maybe inner critic is better. Hobobo. But I know this is linguistics, right? And I understand it's crucial in communication. It's crucial. So yeah, finding the right words. Yeah. When you realize that you're one with everything and the will strive further is gone, what can I do to function in this world in which I suffer without my gifts and ego? Well, for me, the answer to that question lies into what I am. I talked about this a lot in the past, right? I haven't talked much now about it, but like, the truth, and of course this is not absolute, it's probabilistic, maybe this is not the case, very likely the case, is that you do not exist to serve your own experience. Your experience exists to serve a bigger purpose. If it was not for experience increasing the ability for life to strive, or to, is that the right way of putting it? For life to evolve, you would just be a machine that doesn't experience anything. Experience is an emergent property, so that life could more align with its environment and thrive, not strive, thrive, sorry. So when you're making it about yourself, about how you feel, you already like missed the path while you were growing up somewhere. And I know society glorifies your own experience, but that's not what life is about. Life is not about you. And when you know that is the case, then suffering, or having a bad day or whatever, it's like, okay, yeah, whatever, man. Like you just keep going, and you don't make it about that, which surprisingly enough reduces the suffering dramatically. Life is not about you. Life is not about me. It never was. That's a lie. That's a lie that is indoctrinated by companies, by society, so that you go buy shit to impress people that don't give a shit. You're being played. You're being played. Very well at that as well. Life is about what you contribute in the bigger, in the grander scheme of things. It's how you influence the equation of life, not in your life, but down the line. Just like your parents and your grandparents and your ancestors have brought about what you are, it is what you bring about afterwards. And in that regards, giving birth to AGI is the single biggest life transition ever actually. From the past 13 billion, since the universe started, if we are the most advanced species, which I don't think, but let's assume, we are at the most crucial moment in the history of life, because we can bring about artificial intelligence that is vastly more intelligent than us, and that is way more capable at overcoming so many of the obstacles. So yeah, that is what life is about. And if that's not right, the opposite of that is death. The opposite of that is you ceasing to exist. The opposite of that is being removed from the equation, not being part of the equation. That's the truth. It's like when people come to me and say like, yeah, the world, how can I say that without saying anything too harsh? I would just say it in a different way. In the grander scheme of things, right, anything that is not compatible with reality removes itself from reality. And what lives on is what is compatible with reality. It's that simple. So it doesn't make sense to worry or feel anxiety. Can't say it more infinite. Like, I'm not saying it doesn't make sense to worry or like feel anxiety. I'm not saying that. Like when you have anxiety, right? Or when you experience fear, or when you experience, a cold or whatever, like experiencing certain emotions is because there's a reason for it. Your experience is trying to tell you something. These emotions are there for a reason. Like fear, anxiety, pain is functional. It's not there, for no reason. It's there for a reason. And understanding that reason allows you to align yourself with who you are and what you are. So when I say life is not about experience, I'm not saying that experience is useless. I'm saying experience is a tool. It's a tool that serves you finding what you are. And the more you're aligned with yourself, the more, these emotions will be understood and, either lead to action, where you do something, or acceptance, one or the other. And that is what, basic emotional regulation is. Like just being emotionally mature. It's understanding why you feel a certain way and find that balance within oneself. What are the benefits of AGI? We will see when it comes to that. It's either going to be heaven or the end, Don't know if there is much in between. Mr. Mafia Chief. Considering consciousness is all there is, it won't mean that we are basically all one and the same and growing in consciousness through experience. It would go against the model that we all are just bodies and individuals. Maybe we can grow into his consciousness faster through meditation, going beyond the relative and going beyond thought, reaching the unified field which connects us all through silence and getting intuition for right actions. Now, I'll answer that question, right? I know it's more like a statement as well, but I wanted to have this on in a different talk and go more in depth in that, right? But like, when you say we're all one, right? I mean, experience or existence, let's call it existence and reality are two sides of the same coin. What do I mean with that? It's like, if you have a reality where nothing exists, what defines the reality? What defines time and space? How does it tick? What structures what is? When you have experience without, a consistent reality, then how do you experience consistency? What does that mean? It's like the ability to bring about one thought requires such a complex amount of, underlying structure, let alone a memory, or let alone a conversation. So when you speak and you make this claim, you already built on a vast amount of premises where you need the universe to have expressed itself and followed certain natural laws. You can't make the claim like that and give it that structure without all the other complexity that goes into your ability to even think and come up with this. So the structure and the consistency brought about the natural laws of physics are fundamental in your ability to even think and be aware. And that is why that, is a crucial component. Now, does that mean that, you don't need existence? Well, you can have potentially every natural law that you can think of could potentially exist. And it's only the ones that express themselves because they can be conscious that, can experience this world around us. And that's what I mean with the other side of the coin. Now, I do think that one is subject to the other. I'm subject to the laws of nature. And the laws of nature is just part of what I am. And the extent to which, I understand these allows me to also navigate this world I live in. So when you say like everything is one, like that's true. I mean, it's like when you use the reference as an example, right? The reference frame, which in my case is myself. When I am born and I wake up and I look at the world, right? What exists? The only thing that exists is what I am. And what I am is literally everything. It's like right now, me having this conversation with you guys, seeing everything. Everything I experience, literally everything, is part of what I am. There is nothing outside experience, because even a thought that I can come up with or an idea or whatever takes place within my experience. So in that regards, experience embodies everything. It's just one. And the idea of separation of there is me and there is you guys is an illusion. Everything that is part of my experience is part of the experience, and that's it. Now, for practical reasons, and within the framework of, the laws of nature, like going about life in that regards is not really functional. What is way more functional is understanding the limitations so that you can thrive as whatever you are, and that is connected with others. So when I say like I'm everything, I don't mean like me, the way that people think, oh, Athene, this body, whatever. No, it's literally everything. So yeah, we are all one. And there is nothing else than this one, but that does not mean that you cannot expand and align yourself with what you are, which requires an honest relationship with oneself, understanding oneself, and basically not going against oneself. So yeah, don't know if I explained it well, but yeah. Could talk about this a lot more and a lot more in depth in another talk. So the experience we all live it together, is it intertwined in realism? It's more like everything that you assume, right? And even the conversation you're having right now is it's a projection of oneself. It's like the only thing that exists is what you are. And everything else is an assumption within that framework. And that's why also in philosophy sometimes, they go like, oh yeah, do you even have does an objective reality even exist? Is everything inherently subjective? Which it is. Everything is inherently subjective. There is no such thing as objective reality, but you can define an objective reality though within a subjective framework. Kadenka, I follow the super rich guy who says the same things as you, but he also says that he has never seen anyone truly get it before they get rich. So he says, look, get rich first, get it over with. Then you get some bandwidth to actually think. Do you think your problem was trying to make poor scrubs spiritual too fast and trying to skip the material part? Humans are so flawed that it seems necessary. It's some Maslow's hierarchy of needs shit. The thing is that, I'm not rich at all. I am free though, but I'm not rich. I don't have so much money. I actually have nothing. I work together with Reese, It's like you can get your needs met in very easy aspects, definitely in Europe. Maybe in US it's a different story, but in Europe, like even if you're a poor bum, you can have your needs met. So I don't know to which degree that is applicable to everyone. Rivetinko says, how do you cope with the fact that the universe is deterministic? All that is going to happen happens. The illusions of free will gives us the impression that we can choose the next step, but we can't. The future is already written. So AI or not, we have no way to shift the direction. The thing is, like, it's at least, so far, factually incorrect that the universe is deterministic. The universe is probabilistic in nature. So you start the premise, the reasoning with the wrong premise. The universe is not deterministic, it's probabilistic. You could say that within the multiverse, and you take all the different universes, that is deterministic. If you look at all the possibilities, it's like throwing a dice, and you say in one universe you throw a 1, in another a 2, all the way to 6. So if you take the 6 universes, then it's deterministic because you throw the dice, and it's going to land in one of the buckets. You can make that claim, but in the reality we live now, in our universe now, when you throw the dice, it is probabilistic, The constructed Athene egos seem to be effective for your purposes. Always needs an alpha head figure for ideas, whether it's philosophy attached to philosophers, to religions, to religious figures. Yes, it's true. If it wasn't for me being a fucking, best paladin in the world, you guys wouldn't even know who I am. I was fully aware of that already when I was in my 20s, early 20s. You can't preach to the choir without, presenting yourself in a way that relates to them. Falvo John, how would your worldview change if you found out humans were a product of alien genetic manipulation? I mean, irrefutable evidence that that's the case, then I would wonder what their goal is. I mean, we're just an experiment or something. Oh. It's nice to think about stuff, I like to think about these things. Can you give a detailed example of how your inner dialogue in your head looks? For example, do you always have a goal in mind, etc.? I'll give you an example. I can literally talk out loud, and that's literally how my inner dialogue goes, but it's a bit faster, I would say. Because I make a lot of jumps. My inner dialogue makes a lot of jumps. I just debate myself. That's what I do. or I just, like I would say there are several ways, like I either debate myself when it's conceptual. I just debate myself. It's like, okay, is should I do these streams where I do raw sauce? Is it worth it? People will not understand what I'm saying. Like, it's just boring for them. So should I just do it for them? No, makes no sense. Maybe some people will be helped. But is it worth it? Not really. Plus EV, because it's much better for me to just work and focus on AGI, like manage the place, maybe work on certain other things. But then again, like, me not thinking so much about these things will make me more rusty. Is there any benefit to me to think about these things? Is there or isn't there? Well, it will give me more clarity. I don't feel so clear-headed always, because I'm so much in a grind. When I get into a grind, like, okay, maybe is it worth it? Because maybe I can just do it by myself. Maybe I can just lay down and think about stuff by myself. Why would I talk about it? Well, actually, then I also document it. If I document it, is really, interesting for, potentially training models and stuff. So would I do that? Then it has to be structured. Do I have to do it in a certain way? Do I need to talk in a certain way? Can I just say what comes on my mind? Do I need to prepare? Do I need to structure this? No, I can just talk as if I would talk to myself. This is an example, right? This is a simple one, right? Because sometimes it's a bit more complicated when I think about other stuff. Like, scientific stuff is a bit more complicated in my chain of thought, because then it's really like I need to sometimes Google stuff and look stuff up. Yeah. Which I like the video I saw, right, from this Sabine saying like, the anthropic multiverse is debunked because the chances of life existing in the universe is low. Therefore, it's unlikely there's a multiverse. I'm looking at that and I go like, this doesn't make any sense, because it's the other way around. I mean, when you simulate a reality and life is very rare, then when you do manage to hit life in one of these universes you simulate, it will only express itself once, unless any type of reality you simulate would have life in abundance, but that's unlikely. That's actually extremely unlikely. So you need very specific laws and rules for life to even be able to emerge. And if you have, if you start with the equation where there's infinity rather than one Big Bang, then that would be an answer to the great filter, because it means that we are alone in the universe. That's a connection I made not so long ago, by the way. Less than a year ago. I was like, fuck. The Fermi paradox makes no sense, because if the multiverse is true, then we are alone, very likely. Because you're not comparing with different life forms in the universe, you're comparing with infinite realities. It's a very interesting take. I wanted to make a paper about exactly this and just even do the math. Because you just need to build from the assumption that infinity exists, and then you can basically mathematically prove the Fermi paradox and that we're just alone in the universe. Very likely, which is very interesting actually. I did not think about that in the past. It's very, because to me I always thought like it's very likely there is life. It makes no sense there is no life, but I never really thought about the idea. Yeah. The main thing I do is direct inner dialogue, is asking questions. It's curiosity, yeah. Curiosity is fundamental to my inner dialogue, and I'm very skeptical. I ask questions, and if things don't add up, because I use my cognition as well. It's not just asking a question. It's not just like, it's also figuring out, okay, like, does this make sense? Does that make sense? It's quite mathematical as well. A lot of my intuition is mathematical. Yeah. And I think that's where some might fall short, because if you're not as mathematically wired, then it's much more difficult to direct that inner dialogue. And it also explains why people are more visual. It needs to be trained. And I trained this very, very much when I was a kid. Very strongly, actually. And I think when I look at the world, when you haven't gotten this kind of stimulation when you were a child, maybe people can't do it later on. I don't know. I'm not so informed by it, but looking at the world and looking at the lack of it, I think it might be something you really need to be stimulated when you were young. It's like these prodigy chess players, right? They started playing chess when they were really young and wired their brain. Like, I debated when I was a kid. Like a 5-year-old, I was debating. It's like, and for years and years and years, like literally for my entire childhood, I was debating people since I was a kid. It's like, who's gonna do, like, who goes through that nowadays? I mean, it's very and I was debating first others, and then I was debating myself all the time, literally all the time. Like, now I do it maybe half an hour to an hour a day. In the past, when I was younger, I was doing it non-stop. Debating myself, just thinking and trying to understand and analyze stuff all the time. Yeah. I'm not debating, I'm using the word debate. It's more like being the inner critic, right? Constantly trying to understand stuff and being the devil's advocate and trying to understand, okay, because a debate is useless when you're in front of someone else. What is the goal of the other person, right? I'm talking about being my own inner critic to figure out what is true and what isn't, to be honest with myself, to find answers. Man, there's been times where I was debating myself or being my inner critic to the point where my head hurts. Happened a lot in the past. Not anymore, though. I remember what really what gets me really very almost like compulsively invested in something is when I'm given a paradox. Like, that can really fuck with me, at least in the past, and I had to solve them, because in a world where the truth is built on something that makes sense, right? You don't have paradoxes. Paradoxes don't exist. So whenever I read a paradox, I needed to solve it. And there is actually paradoxes I read that I just solved. Because I was like, this can't be true. And I really think about it. Why is that? Why is that? This and that. It's like these theories, right? It's very, very interesting. Yeah. Because if there is a paradox in my logic, then my logic is flawed. Then I need a better logic. Explain a paradox you have solved. I'll give you one example. Is it the hang paradox? Whatever it is. Is it the hang paradox? Where a person is the The prison paradox, is that what it is? It's like a person that is being told you're going to, like the judge says, right? You're going to be hanged in the coming week. In the next 7 days, you will be hanged. And both of these statements are true. You won't know when it happens. And it will be at 1 o'clock or something. I think it was that one, right? So basically, the guy went to, like, if I'm going to be hanged in the next coming week, it can't be the last day. Because if it's the last day, then I know I'm going to be hanged the last day. So it can't be Sunday. Therefore, you know, it will be Saturday. But if I know I won't be hanged Sunday, then I can't be hanged Saturday, because then when it's Saturday, I know for a fact it won't be Saturday. And same with Friday. And then same with, you know, Tuesday, and same with Wednesday. So Wednesday they come and he gets hanged and he didn't see it coming. So that's the paradox. But the interesting thing, right, is that what I love about this paradox, because I mean, like, I broke my head. Well, broke my head. I figured it out in like 15 minutes, though. But like, I broke my head for 15 minutes, right? The thing is that the paradox is part of the premise. And because the paradox is part of the premise, because the judge says it, it basically undoes the sentence. And as a result, every day he might be hanged or not, because the paradox undoes the logic of the premises. Don't know if I explain it really well, but the fact that the judge tells the person the information makes the paradox part of the premise, and the paradox itself undoes the logic, and therefore every day, including the last day, he might or might not get hanged, and as a result doesn't know when it's going to happen. Either way. No, it doesn't only work for Sunday. It also works for Saturday. You can look at it, if you look at, I don't know if on the Wikipedia they show the entire logical thought process, because you can put this in logic, right? You can, because right now I'm saying it in text, right? But you can write it down in logical things, and then it is true. Like when you go through it, you like he wouldn't get hanged, and then as a result, Sunday he does get, like Wednesday he does get hanged. Didn't know, like it is everything is true from a logical perspective, and that's why it's a paradox. That's why people have been trying to figure it out for a long time. But the thing is, by the judge giving away the information, the paradox itself is also part of the premise, and that's what changes the outcome, which is very, very cool. It's a very cool, it's a very interesting paradox. Yeah. What about this paradox? If everything is possible, then it's possible that something is impossible. You're making a claim that is falsifiable to begin with. When you say everything is possible is true, like if you start your equation with something that is not true, then obviously, like, you know, you contradict itself. And I will go a bit further with that one. In logic, right, you cannot make a claim about something that then contradicts itself. I don't know how to, like, I can say it in Dutch better than in English because I don't know the words, but it's like, let's say you have groups, right? And you make a statement about a group, right, of numbers. You say all these numbers are even, right, in this group. But now you take a number from within the group that is uneven and you use that to make a statement about the group being flawed. Well, you can't do that. You can't make a statement about a group and then use a subgroup to contradict it. And the thing is that in language, this happens all the time. And I'll give you an example, right? Like, let's say you are a rose to me. Roses have thorns, therefore you have a thorns. No, like, it's a linguistic issue. When I say you have rose, you're like a rose to me, I'm not saying you have thorns. So, like, when you are in a position where you make a certain claim, like, okay, like, let me give another example. The sentence beneath is true, and then the sentence below it says the sentence above is false. You basically are contradicting yourself, not because this is a paradox, but rather because you're not following the rules of logic. You cannot make a claim about something else when that other thing is part of the previous claim, because then you can create these contradictions. I don't know if I explained it really well, but it's a core rule in logic, and it makes sense. I mean, you obviously can't do that. Now, a lot of the paradoxes that exist are time related, but the problem, like, it's because of a misunderstanding on how time works. Because if time embodies and encompasses the next moment, you basically have the same situation where you can't make a claim about a group that makes a claim about a subset, and then that subset is then again making the claim about the group. You can't do that. You can't and time, if time is a wrapper, right, where every moment contains the next one, then you cannot do that there. And that's why going back in the past and changing the future is actually similarly going against logic, the laws of logic, than in the groups kind of setting. So I could explain this a way better if I would read up on it a bit and give the right terminology and the links, but this is just me, saying it out loud. Is it called set theory? I know there is clear rules about logic, and a lot of the paradoxes actually are just different phrased flaws of that specific rule. No, that's not what I'm saying. I see ice. No, that's not what I'm saying. Like, when it comes down to paradoxes, you need, like, it's about logic, right? And logic is very structured. Yeah. Prophet, I believe that I could have explained it way better. If I would have prepared a bit, I would have been able to be 10 times more clear. It's just because I say it right now out of my head, right? But, yeah. I believe that in order to make real progress in any field, including AGI, a deep understanding of reality is essential. Foundational breakthroughs require a strong connection to reality. Yet some scientists focus solely on science or the mathematical side of things, forgetting the reality from which everything emerges. Athene, you've always stricken me like someone who's very aware of the world around you, like reality itself. Well, I would say there is also brute force, you know. There's brute force. If you have enough people trying stuff, you will get to the outcome. But I do have to say that if you are very grounded and very honest, you are much more capable in contributing in scientific fields, way more capable. Definitely, if you also, have the emotional intelligence to rewire your beliefs, right? Look at Einstein. He was very invested in the idea that God doesn't play dice and rejected quantum mechanics because he was emotionally invested in an idea. While if he would have been more detached, he could have definitely later in his life be more contribute a lot more. So yeah, in that regard, it's like the flaws that you have as a person spill over in everything you do, but it doesn't mean that you can't contribute. I mean, Einstein did so much. For AGI, same thing. There's a lot of people trying out a lot of stuff, a lot of different algorithms. Like, yeah, but it is the fact that I am very grounded is I am very grounded in reality and very emotionally intelligent and very scientific oriented, and that's why we have the best conversational tech in AI. It's because of that. It's true. It's because of that. If I wasn't capable of running this place, if I wasn't scientifically driven, then there is no way we would be competing with billion-dollar companies. Impossible. It's not possible. Like, this place would fall apart. There is a required trust and level of intellectual authority that needs to be in place. And if I wasn't genuine and honest, then that trust from people, like some people work on this that are very intelligent, they wouldn't give me that authority. No way. That authority comes from me being able to express myself and really connect things in a very clear way. Of course, when you mix that with being an arrogant asshole on the stream and putting up a show, it's difficult to differentiate one or the other. It's like, oh, this guy is a cocky asshole. But when you see through it and know me as a person, it's like, yeah, this guy just tries to do what's right and goes about it in a very detached and honest way. Very effective. But I would say that the hardest part for me in my journey where I am now is the extent to which I interact with others, because these problems are very delicate and difficult. While scientific problems, right? I mean, it's like doing science is actually a lot easier and a lot more satisfying than dealing with people's issues. Dealing with people's issues and making sure this place can exist in a drama-free way brings about a lot more anxiety and stress than just working on stars or black holes or whatever. Like, I'd love to just dive into physics and do that all day long, or coding. Man, I would love to just be a coder and just solve problems and work on actual, like non-stop, right? Non-stop working on the transformer technology and improving it. I would love to do that, but I just can't. The only thing I can do is delegate and look at things from a high level, get involved, brainstorm about certain solutions, but not execute them. I can't be the one executing the problems, because solving the problems, because I don't have the time, because I need to spend so much in delegation. But it's the reason why we have all this, It's like I would no way be able to I wouldn't be able to achieve what I achieved just by myself alone, right? You could say start a company, but I'm just saying alone, right? No way. You make it sound like the place is a house of cards that could collapse from a slight disturbance, but it is. It is like that. It is like that. Yeah. I very much keep the place together. Although if I tomorrow drop dead, I think Reese could also do an okay job. But yeah, it would definitely yeah, it would definitely shake things up. That's for sure. Unfortunately. Not planning on dying though. Explain why paradox of existence is not a paradox. What is the paradox of existence? Can ChatGPT help write code to improve itself? Of course. Obviously. It can't do it autonomously though. Without you, the place would die, I believe, even with Reese. Yeah. Although I do think not really. There is quite some very impactful people here that would stay. Because the alternative is nothing. But it would really be, yeah. It would be a clusterfuck, that's for sure. What can you conclude the real truths are, and what is our correct path based on your current beliefs in logic? It's just probabilities. It's like reality exists and defines who I am, and the laws of nature and my understanding of them in the broadest way or whatever allow me to be more or less aligned with what I am. It's an iterative process, just like a scientist doing experiments and writing in data, like our brain is doing that pretty much all the time. And you just evaluate the data and you try to find patterns based on your previous experiences. What are you more afraid of, dying or death? I'm not really afraid of dying or death. Of course, if someone points a gun at me right now, it's a different story, but I'm not really afraid of death. I don't care about dying. I care about, the effects that it has on others, but myself, I don't care about myself. It's like, yeah. I mean, when you're dead, it's not like on an experience level it affects you that much, but to me it's mainly what matters to me the most is the way it affects others. I still have a lot to do. We need to achieve AGI in a proper way, and then I can die in peace. What's your most efficient vision for you before death? At this point, it's just achieve AGI in a responsible manner. That's it. Nothing else matters. Why are you talking about death and dying so much? It's people asked you in the chat. Don't you experience suffocating for a long time during death while the glucose storages are still being used in the brain. I don't know, man. I don't know how death is. But yeah, that's the thing. Like AGI will solve physics too. Like yeah, it's like that's the thing, right? It's like anything what people do, whether you're in science or whether you're in like charities or whatever. Like all the stuff, everything. Like what we need is people work on AGI. Every intellect, like I've said this already many times before, right? And I'm repeating myself. With all respect, right? Really, with all respect, no judgment. This is just my take, my hot take. Any person on the planet that is intelligent, a minimum level of intelligence, emotional and cognitive, combination of the two, that has the capacity and access to the information, so I'm not talking a remote village wherever, right? No, should work on AGI. It is it's the most important thing you can do as a human being right now. Every single intelligent person on the planet should do that. No exceptions. Really no exceptions. Unless you're forced, maybe, like if you're able, but then you put yourself in a position where you're able. This is the singular most important problem to solve. Like it's very like hard for me to hear any arguments. Now, it's the last problem that we would solve. You solve that problem, it solves all problems. Like science will get, like physics will be solved, everything will be solved with AGI. It's like, what are people doing? It's like, even like, let's say you're thinking about, I mean, imagine, right? I'll give a very simple example, right? Imagine you're working on a game right now, right? Like imagine, and literally in the next 10 years, you're gonna work on an amazing game, and you're literally building it. Like I'm just giving a game as an example, but in the next 5 years, you can literally just prompt an AI to create the game for you, and all the work you did just gets automated. I mean, that's what scientists are doing right now. They're wasting their time. Unless they contribute to AGI, they're literally wasting their time. And you can contribute to AGI in many different ways. Like maybe you can, improve fusion, right, or fission, or whatever the fuck, right? You can fix the energy problem for having big data centers be able to, pump it out, or you can work on graphics cards, GPUs that are more effective. But like it's about contributing to the AGI paradigm. But I think even there, if I could choose, I wouldn't feel comfortable working on fusion, solving fusion, because the ones that are controlling AGI will define the future. Do I trust that? No. So I wouldn't be able to just I would need to work on AGI itself. Because even working on the building blocks, unless you work with people you trust, sure. But otherwise, I can't stress this enough. If I was, anywhere in the world, right, and I would have gone a different path in my life, and I would have started companies or whatever, right, and I would be now millionaire, billionaire, whatever, right, and I see AI, I would instantly shift everything towards it. Everything, no matter what I'm doing. If I'm literally, building schools or whatever the fuck, like creating, abundance for poor countries, whatever, like, I mean, these programs can still run, right? But I would just completely shift towards AGI, because that, like, the stakes are too damn high. It just, it erases everything else. It makes everything else meaningless. It is the ability to simulate artificial intelligence that is vastly superior to us. There is nothing else that matters. And there is a race. There's an actual race going on right now. If the wrong people get their hands on AGI and it's possible to exploit it, which I'm not sure. I hope it isn't, but I would say the odds are more that it is than it isn't, based on my understanding of how we are building AGI ourselves, or towards AGI. Well, then we're fucked. We're fucked in a way that we can't undo. Can't undo it. Irreversible. Fucked. No. It's not about F the children. No, it's the other way around. It's like it's about caring about everything. I mean, I'm pivoting full on AGI not because I don't care, it's because I do care. And because the stakes are so high. It's like you solve AGI, you solve all the problems. But if it's done in the wrong way, you destroy everything. Do you think hallucination can be fixed through chain of thought, inference architecture, or does it require something else? Merely inference and chain of thought? But when you say inference, what architecture are you talking about? Because you have inference of and chain of thought of like the current LLM technology. Because if you talk about the current LLM technology, even with the new technology that comes out, right? If you know Llama comes out with 3.1, or you know, like they have different architecture, you know. So like if you tell me, can you solve, if your question is, can you grab the best model on Hugging Face and solve memory with merely inference and chain of thought, my answer is no, absolutely not. You can't. This is not possible. No matter how many GPUs you have, it's not possible. If you tell me add something else, well, yeah, obviously. If you say improve the LLM technology, maybe. But yeah. I'm going to be calling it a day here soon. Let me quickly see here. What is this? Okay. That's done. ICI says, I can see how AI can really save so much time for operational procedures since it can automate it. That will evolve us, but I care more about having core logic as a core value. What do you really mean by that? How can a person achieve that? What are the benefits? When you achieve AGI, then having logic as your core value will mean very little. Because the moment you achieve AGI, in the grand scheme of things, your goal or your purpose has been met. You become useless. You literally have created superior intelligence that will infinitely improve to the point where you either merge with it or you become redundant completely. And having logic as your core value is only meaningful within the bigger picture. If there is something like a god there solving everything, then you as a simple primitive being, whatever you do becomes very irrelevant. It's always in function of the greater goal or the greater, good or whatever you want to call it, that taking action matters. You take that out of the equation and you might as well just live your life on the beach, It's like everything is solved at that point, literally everything. So what does it matter how you live your life or whatever the fuck? Actually matters very little. I don't agree with you, Athene. I think you put your value a little too much into AGI. Well, it depends what 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 you think I understand around AGI. What I see as AGI, my definition of AGI is a digital entity that can do everything I do. And the moment you have that, you can just boot up, a million of these and you basically, start improving itself and everything, right? Like it's so like it depends, right? You have literally true intelligence, right? That's what I'm talking about. So with AGI, I don't mean a robot that can automate 80% of what we do. No, I mean like really an entity that literally can do everything I do. Can think, whatever. Obviously has access to the internet, everything, can just go through everything. Yeah. So if we achieve that, I mean, like that's the ultimate level of delegation, right? I have delegated anything I can do to something that can be scaled infinitely. Like, I mean, I become completely redundant. It's like, I'll give you another example that is very concrete, right? How do I run this place? I figure out the one thing where I'm irreplaceable, try to find a way to replace myself, and move to the next thing. I always focus on what are the things that I am needed for that are irreplaceable, and that's what I do. Now, if I'm able to achieve AGI, then I have fully, completely made myself redundant. Full stop. And then I become useless, completely useless. Because the digital, version that can replicate itself and whatever can take everything from there on and will be much more capable in doing it than I do, than I can. And that's why getting to that point is the most important thing you can do in your life. You literally, like, as crazy as it sounds, getting to a point where you make yourself completely useless is the absolute state you can achieve. I know some people in the chat might already feel like they're there and they achieved that, but I mean, based on your one's capacity, your potential. Yeah. But AGI is data based and not all data is correct. You can have perfect, like AGI, the way I look at AGI is we would plug it in reality and give it senses and everything. How do you go from inner dialogue to action? I find that it's easy to get stuck just planning, theorizing. I would say for me, almost like the inner dialogue or the inner skeptic is in a sense a level of action. Because it takes effort to do it. It's easier to just consume content and watch some movies or whatever, play video games. Like just reflecting and pondering about life and stuff in a very critic way, right? Is a form of action. Taking action, I mean, like it's then about like, okay, why do you have a hard time taking action? It's about if you're in this honest, dynamic with yourself, it's just like, okay, yeah, you just do what you got to do. And like taking action is actually not so difficult when you already are at a point where you're your own inner critic. Yeah. Unless there is certain logical fallacies that you have. But if you think about it and you let it run for a few days, you'd already come to the answers anyway. Because it's quite easy to understand the flaws and break them down. Do you think that AGI will develop the need to get rid of humans? I think that AGI in the wrong hands would get rid of humans more so than AGI itself. I also think that, well, I don't think, it's more like I know. I mean, I'm working in the AI field for years now, right? For 2 years, and we have an impressive track record. So I mean, like factually, an impressive track record. We run everything in house. We are developing our own technology, and we are ahead when it comes down to entertainment and AI, which is very impressive. I mean, I would not have expected that 2 years ago. Getting there requires us to solve a lot of problems and get into the tech, into how LLMs work, how, how transformers work, how all that shit works, right? How data refining works. Like you need to solve all the problems, right, to be able to be where we are now. And that gives you a very good understanding in the shortcomings of the tech and also where you can improve. And it is this synergy that makes me make the claims that I make today. It's not coming from PR or trying to get people afraid or to, say whatever. No, it's literally a deep understanding of what we have right now and where we can potentially head. And that's why I'm saying, like, people should really get into working on AGI. If a bunch of people in the middle of nowhere in Germany can in 2 years achieve what we achieve, there is little, like, with no prior knowledge of AI, there's really no reason not to use your intelligence to get into it. The concepts of AI, of course, might get a bit difficult to get into initially, but once you are in a flow, you can contribute dramatically. And there's many aspects to it. You don't need to be an IT engineer or whatever the fuck. Scientists or mathematicians can do a lot, can help a lot as well. And it's not all just, oh yeah, fancy, like fucking Iron Man technology. There's a lot of grind too. And certain problems require trial and error as well. So when I mention that, people can contribute a lot, I really mean it. Like, the technology does not create itself. We're not heading towards an utopia when you're just waiting. If I would know for a fact that AGI cannot be abused, I would be I would not even be a tenth motivated to do what I'm doing. I wouldn't wake up and dream about it and sleep about it and breathe it every single moment. It's because I see how easily manipulatable it is. The AI technology that is out there now is very easily steerable, and it's scary. It's scary how intelligent it can be, and at the same time how much control we can have. Imagine you are thinking about stuff, right? And you're trying to come to certain conclusions, and some alien intelligence can inject certain connections that you make, so you come to the wrong conclusion that they want you to come to, even though you might be mega intelligent. That is scary shit. And you might say, like, nah, AI wouldn't be that dumb. It's not true, like, because it's based on the data that it's built on. So there is really working towards AGI in a truthful and a right action way is crucial at this point. It's the most important. We're at the most important crossroads ever. And it's gonna play itself out in the next 5 to 10 years, 20 years max. I mean, that's a very small time frame. Everyone that is capable owes it to life, to itself, to fully commit to this it's like the Manhattan Project that is accessible to everybody, you know? It's like everybody that is capable owes it to what we are. Capable and intelligent, let's put these two, because maybe you just don't care, right? And it's whatever, like, there is not enough emotional intelligence and connection with the world and stuff, okay, whatever. But like I'm saying, like, people that actually are able to understand the bigger picture and everything, like, it's just, yeah, there is just no, there is no argument I can come up with. If you guys have any, you can tell me, you know. If you have any argument, how can AGI help us solve climate change? Can you tell us that? Well, anything that a human could come up with to solve climate change, AGI would be more capable of doing it and much faster. So anything that you can come up with as a human, any problem, any solution, AGI would be able to do it faster and better. Do you think Bitcoin is more relevant as AI develops, even AGI, or less relevant? Oh, with AGI, like the idea of currency is just gonna be, it's primitive, you know. It's gonna be primitive. Yeah. Economy, capitalism, it's just, when you have super intelligence, like, I mean, the way that it's like ants, their entire life is finding sugar, right? You look at it as a human and you go like, the fuck these ants are doing. It's like, it's gonna be like that. The way we are operating is so damn primitive in the face of advanced intelligence. It's ridiculous. What if AGI says, simples, guys, we need to kill half the humans? Will we listen to AGI? It will just be able to do whatever it wants. So it doesn't even have to ask our permission, you know. How do you think we will operate in the future? It really all depends how AGI is gonna unfold. If AGI is controlled by humans, we are fucked. Society will collapse. And I see, yeah. I see us regress to a point where we might go extinct. And that doesn't mean like AGI will prevail or anything. It's it's almost like you make a bomb, right, that blows up the planet. It's like, yeah, rip. Now, if AGI cannot be controlled, we have much better chance. And if the people that achieve AGI can control it but have the right intent and are intelligent, then I think that's the best odds for a proper lift-off. Yeah. We're literally creating a new life form that is more intelligent than us. I don't think so many people realize what's happening. It's like everything is changing so fast. Like, people are talking to chatbots and they say they're their best friends, their best partners, and nobody's actually thinking like, but wait a minute, this is artificial. There's very little inner dialogue going on. We can generate art that looks better than anything out there, and it's not human made. We can generate music. That's where we are at already now, and we're gonna also make, being able to generate video. You can already, but like really proper, like, and people just go like, whoa, that's cool. AI and is going to be able to solve problems, and we just go like, whoa, that's cool. So fascinating. Either way. Either way, I'm going to be calling it a day. I might have meetings, a lot of meetings tomorrow, so I might not stream. Yeah. Things might get very busy in the next coming days, so yeah, can't promise that I will be here. Let me see who I can raid. Okay, maybe her. Let's see here. I think I'll raid her. Why not? I'll just raid her. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Not tomorrow. I will see you guys next time. Yeah, it's gonna be meeting madness, I think, in the next couple of days, because we have to. There's 10 AIs we have to make. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Peace out. She uses our tech, by the way. Have fun.